When it comes to health and fitness, weight loss is by far the domain that interests most people. What's the secret? The magical way to lose weight? It's hard because there's a ton of data out there. Should I go keto? Should I do high interval intensity cardio? Or drink a detox juice? And while many of these may help in the short term, sticking to the basics is what works for the long run. Yes, and it may be simpler and much easier than you think it is. Weight loss is a huge topic in itself. There is a ton of data out there, different mechanisms, diets, hacks to losing weight. But essentially, it boils down to two things: a simple step formula. Move more and eat less. Yes, but it's not that simple. We'll get into the specifics of how and what's later on, but let's just see why is weight loss important. It's not that much for aesthetics, but it's more for health reasons. People who are overweight tend to have lower energy levels and experience more fatigue. They tend to have poor metabolic factors that can increase the risk of certain diseases. It's important to note that losing weight is not an event, it's a process. It's a journey in a sense. So anytime you've seen someone with an extreme claim of lost 20 pounds in 2 weeks, no, they most likely lost a lot of weight by reducing water content in their body, but not actually fat. Although this can fluctuate and is different in different people based on how metabolically flexible they are, there is a set limit of how much fat your body can burn for energy. And if you've read some of my articles, you'd see that weight loss or the ability to burn fat is more about making the body metabolically more active and efficient and utilizing fuel to create more energy. While many things like fasting and coffee and herbs and spices and cold showers can help increase metabolic rate, there is only one way to a sustainable long-term weight loss. We'll check it out. To understand weight loss, we need to understand why we need food and energy first. To properly function and sustain our basic biological human needs and physiological functions, we need energy. We eat food to get that energy in order to survive, function properly, and thrive. When food was a scarce resource back in time, people had periods where they would eat a lot and then go without food a lot. And currently, we're way safer in this regard because food is not a scarce resource anymore and it's pretty much available. But this primal mechanism is still instilled. Say you have some steak with veggies. When you eat your lunch, the food is digested and enzymes in your digestive system further break down the food molecules. Numerous physiological processes occur on a cellular level, which leads to the conversion of food to human usable energy, or ATP. So where did the problem of weight gain start? If we exclude rare genetic and metabolic disorders, I think we can boil it down to what I like to call metabolic deficit. And it's not a solidified scientific term in the literature yet, but I think this name fits my theory. So metabolic deficit is the inefficiency to produce enough energy from the calories that we've eaten, although we have eaten enough calories. This signals the body to retain as much energy as possible so we can increase our energy levels. So one thing we tend to do is stop moving, we move less, and we eat more, which is logical. But actually, the opposite happens. The body becomes even more inefficient in producing energy, leading to a loop of fatigue and tiredness and fuzziness. When we do the opposite and we deprive the body short term of calories, which is done in fasting, the body increases its metabolic efficiency, being able to create more energy faster. So one of the lighter things to do is to get into a caloric deficit of 200 to 300 calories so our body can regain that efficiency into producing more ATP, or human usable energy. We can tip the scale towards a caloric deficit by either eating less or moving more. First thing is NEAT, or non-exercise activity-induced thermogenesis. It may sound complex, but we'll simplify it in a bit. I was introduced to the concept of NEAT by a diabetics professor at our faculty. So NEAT is every activity that you do that is not considered an exercise. Things like commuting to work, biking or cycling in the park, walking your dog around, going on a just hike with the family, or just doing anything like cooking or cleaning at home. Now, intense exercise might not be the solution because although it burns a lot of calories, it also does increase your appetite a lot and you need to recover from it. While if you compare that to NEAT, which is just another light physical activity, it doesn't really stimulate your appetite as much and you don't need to recover from it. So it sort of burns a bit more calories, which kind of go unnoticed. NEAT activity can help tip the scale toward a negative energy balance. Research shows it may also help reduce the risk of certain cardiovascular and metabolic syndrome diseases. This is your resting metabolic rate, aka how many calories you burn during rest. This is your basal metabolic rate, the calories you burn during everyday life with no exercise. An intense HIIT session can help squeeze out a percentage, but you may also need to recover from it. Although trivial amounts of calories are burned through NEAT, they can accumulate over time and promote a sustainable weight loss. Second element is a light caloric deficit of 10 to 20%. I say light because when we do a caloric deficit in extremes and severely drop our calories, this can significantly reduce our metabolic rate and cause what's called a yo-yo dieting, which is a period of very low calories and then the body needs to sort of compensate for that, where you eat too much and regain all this weight back. To prevent this kind of shuffling in and out and all the inflammation that goes in it, we can slightly reduce the caloric intake by 200 to 300 calories, where the body doesn't have to adapt that quickly or extremely. The goal with caloric deficit is the exactly same: tip the scale towards negative energy balance so we can lose some weight. And the simplest formula to do this is to reduce your caloric intake by 200 to 300 calories than your total energy expenditure. You can try an app like the MyFitnessPal to see how much calories are in the foods that you are eating for just a month or two to gain a sense of what to eat and what is more calorie dense and what is not. But an easier way to maintain a caloric deficit is to eat more vegetables and fruits, because these kinds of things pack a lot of fiber and are quite satiating, making you feel fuller for longer. Fasting is also another practical way which can put you in a caloric deficit even unintentionally, because when we reduce the time window in which we ingest food, we reduce the frequency, and so there's one meal less, which can easily tip the scale toward a negative energy balance. If your goal is weight loss, high interval intensity cardio is a losing battle. Research shows that weight loss depends on negative energy balance, which can be achieved with diet only, independent of training. Eating less calories but feeling full doesn't have to be a drag. Most of us know that donuts or muffins stuff a lot more empty calories compared to whole foods like sweet potatoes, avocados, green veggies, chicken, oats, rice, or fruits. It's about picking healthier, whole foods that can give you the real energy your body deserves. The third, and surprising for many, is strength training and increasing your protein intake. Strength training increases muscle mass. That is commonly known and very simple. The muscle is a more metabolically active tissue than fat, meaning the muscle helps expend more energy, aka burn more calories. So if you look at a BMI, the body mass index of a person that weighs the same, but one of them has higher muscle mass than the other, it's probably that person can expend more energy or burn more calories as their bodies are more metabolically active. Plus, muscle absorbs glucose faster, so any carb-heavier meals can spike glucose less because the muscle would take some of this glucose because it needs it to refuel for energy later. Aside from this improving metabolic health, it can have a lot of more benefits on the body on a cellular and metabolic level. Now, aside from just strength training, a good thing that pairs with it is increasing protein intake. Protein definitely skyrocketed in popularity due to the latest findings. First of all, protein has higher thermogenic effect, meaning to just digest, metabolize proteins, we use more energy and expend more heat out of the body, aka burn more calories out of the body than digesting and metabolizing fats and carbs. So research shows that the two main mechanisms behind a high protein diet and weight loss are increase in satiety and fullness, as they reduce hunger hormones, which can prevent overeating, and higher diet-induced thermogenic effects than carbs and fats. Looking at the research thus far, it seems that high-protein diets can be quite efficient in reducing the weight regain after weight loss and improving our metabolic efficiency and expending more energy or burning more calories. While weightlifting doesn't burn nowhere near as many calories as an intense cardio, it improves numerous other aspects and factors which indirectly affect fat loss. Trained muscles utilize glucose better, thus improving metabolic health. A more muscular frame is also superior in burning calories constantly as the metabolic rate is increased. This also means a portion of the food of an active lifter will go to feed the muscle instead of accumulating as fat. So, to conclude, the simple formula for weight loss is eating more and moving less. The point is to tip the scale towards a negative energy balance so we can expend or burn more calories than we ingest. The three simplest ways to do this is increasing your NEAT activity or non-exercise-induced thermogenesis, aka the basic daily activities like walking and cycling instead of driving to work, taking the stairs instead of the elevator, playing some golf with your kids, walking the dog in the park, yada yada yada, you get it. Next thing is maintaining a light, practical caloric deficit of around 10 to 20%, or better yet, 200 to 300 calories on a daily basis, which is not going to put your body in a very extreme position to fight for energy. Third one is increasing protein intake and engaging in strength training, which can improve the metabolic activity of your body and have an additional thermogenic effect that carbs and fats do not. So these are my 3 tips. Give me your secret formula to fat loss and weight loss in the comments below, because I am really researching this topic and planning to write more specifically and scientifically on vitalcent.com. Hope it helps. As always, have a great one. Bye.